Ebusuya, mema akwaba edo be PhD TV. Ebusuya ada makache mse Ghana mayo sema echegu hot political update, entertainment news, sports update. And I'm the bedroom or platform we so. Sanso na nsema fe papa honorable Kennedy afon preko Ohene Agyapong. Open ho nsem hina. Hwehwe yo no e platform we ya so. Enko bebia. Nti no first about channel is a message about modern na subscribe channel no if na share video we from onua no nya bi nhwe no de ekoso e wo my Ghana hazi edi amegye so e ba kopɛ eno ane ankre ato ebusua Ghana man payini John Dramani Srem se jata Mahama in fact menemo kase de anope ya or the press conference tin ahye so de oka nyina ne se chese free na kosi match na appointees nyina public workers obia we declare asset we declare asset baby ani japade wo baby a wo dan si kire se wo dan ne usika sem etisen o bank sika be negum kire wo asset nyina no no ankasa nso abomoden wa kire ne asset wa kire tisen nyoma hodo wo bibi bi wo chese Ghana man penny John Dramani Mahama kire ne nyina it was an appointees nkofo bi enim mu no amai magente se mo de mundi krem asset no mo momodin na nde ya kwesi match mo momodin bebia mo pipes gu bi am konkopembra an so mo pipes na kodi UK kura ampa mo ntwem nika na mo konkope emfambra na mo ma medikrem mo so mo asset enya sa match de obeyi mu nyina obesake mu nyina ntebuso afo sansem we na babeto dwa yenkwe na yenkonkohwe eye press conference nsema esi ewase ye ne nsema odi to dwa ne enoma mienu mense bia oka ho asem mo yenhwe
Who is the Deputy Auditor General for Performance and Special Audit. And my name is Kumasi. I'm the Auditor General.
All right, thank you very much. We've also been joined by Dr. Mahama, Secretary to the President, and Mrs. Joyce Bawa-Muktari, Senior Presidential Advisor and Special Aide to His Excellency the President. At this stage, I will call on the Auditor General to receive the completed forms from His Excellency the President. Photographers. Thank you very much, Mr. President and Mr. Auditor General. And I have the singular honor of inviting His Excellency the President to make a few remarks on why this ceremony is taking place. Thank you.
I was just looking at the statute on Assets Declaration, and under Article 286 of the 1992 Constitution, it names the President, the Vice President, Ministers and Deputy Ministers, Members of Parliament, and judges. And then again under Act 550, Public Office Holders Declaration of Assets, it includes public officers, including those in the civil service, public corporations, and statutory boards. Then it also includes chief executives of all public corporations. It includes district chief executives, and then members of the Council of State. There are many people in public office who do not know that they are covered under this assets declaration regime. And so, Auditor General, there must be a reminder to all these people that they are covered under the assets declaration regime. And so I have presented mine this morning, and let me make a few remarks. Senior government officials present, the Auditor General and staff of your department, we're very happy to have you here this morning at the presidency. Friends of the media, I've just performed a simple but brief, very important act of presenting my completed assets declaration forms to the Auditor General as required by Article 286 of the 1992 Constitution and the Public Office Holders Declaration of Assets and Disqualifications Act 1998, Act 550. Ghana's assets declaration regime and its related activities have often been shrouded in secrecy, and only unless in special circumstances, compliance is often difficult to measure. In times past, I would privately have presented these forms to the Auditor General in fulfillment of my statutory obligation. I've taken this step of presenting these forms publicly as a way of injecting some openness and transparency into the process of assets declaration. I've always maintained that while it is all well and good to punish corruption, a more effective way of addressing the canker is preventing it from occurring in the first place. I honestly believe that if properly curated and enforced, the assets declaration process can become a sustainable tool for tackling corruption. Corruption by nature is insidious and thrives under the cover of darkness. The more light that is shown on it, the more likely that it will be fought successfully. I've also taken this step to send an unmistakable signal to all public office holders, especially those that I have appointed, that I take the declaration of assets very seriously and expect full compliance from them. I've asked the Chief of Staff to send word to all appointees to ensure that they declare their assets by the end of the first quarter of this year, that is by 31st March 2025. I wish to stress that any appointee failing to meet this deadline would face severe sanctions, not excluding removal from office. Even as we strive to hold past government officials accountable for their stewardship, I deem it even more imperative to enforce anti-corruption among our present public office holders. Charity, they say, begins at home. I'm therefore determined to take the necessary steps to ensure that we fight corruption vigorously so that the precious little resources that have been entrusted to us by the Ghanaian people are used only in their interest. There have been issues raised about the effectiveness of the current assets declaration regime. We must take advantage of the current constitution review process to strengthen the assets declaration regime to make it more relevant to changing times. I believe that we must move to a regime where the assets so declared can be published before and after public office, so that the phenomenon of unexplained and overnight wealth, obviously earned through the proceeds of corruption, can be checked. I trust that a healthy debate can be had over this issue and consensus built on the way forward, so that collectively we can defeat the unwholesome canker of corruption. I thank you for your kind attention. Thank you.